The YouTuber Alex O'Connor recently promoted the Shrimp Welfare Project on his podcast. The Shrimp Welfare Project, which is one of the charities we've given to as part of Vegan 2.0, claims to help about 1,500 shrimp per dollar donated. And they just got a shout out from a YouTuber with 1.6 million subscribers. That's huge. The curious thing about this particular shout out though is that Alex actually quit being vegan about 2.5 years ago. In particular, he said that he had gone back to eating animals, especially seafood. So here's a guy who eats shrimps and is simultaneously promoting the Shrimp Welfare Project. So it's time to ask, is he cooking or is he cooked? If you're a long-time viewer, you might be thinking, uh-oh, this sounds familiar. Is Alex O'Connor Vegan 2.0? And if you're not a long-time viewer, you might be thinking, what on earth is Vegan 2.0? Essentially, Vegan 2.0 is my proposed upgrade to veganism, where we go from excluding all forms of animal exploitation as far as practicable and possible, to preventing the worst forms of animal exploitation as efficiently and effectively as possible. This shifts the focus away from excluding all possible animal exploitation in a game of diminishing returns, towards investing in the most effective ways to prevent animal exploitation in a game of exponential returns. Vegan 2.0 is about giving to effective animal charities, sharing pro-animal content on social media, and taking part in organised activism aimed at institutions. By doing these three things, I estimate that you can save about 50 times as many animals as you can by being Vegan 1.0. Now, most people who are Vegan 2.0 are also going to be Vegan 1.0. That is to say that they're following a vegan diet and lifestyle. But perhaps not everyone. In many ways, Alex O'Connor sitting here as a shrimp eater, telling people to go and donate to the Shrimp Welfare Project, gets to the heart of a question that I've been asked a lot on this topic. Can you be Vegan 2.0 without being Vegan 1.0? The answer is yes, technically you can be Vegan 2.0 without being Vegan 1.0. It's definitely possible to donate to effective animal charities, to share pro-animal content on social media, and to take part in organised activism, while simultaneously eating animals. Since I estimate that Vegan 2.0 saves about 50 times as many animals as Vegan 1.0, somebody who does the former but not the latter is going to be helping far more animals than somebody who does the latter but not the former. But there are a couple of legitimate objections to this view, both of which make a strong case for being Vegan 1.0 as well as Vegan 2.0. The first objection to being Vegan 2.0 without being Vegan 1.0 focuses on the asymmetry between action and inaction. On this view, there's something fundamentally different about being the one to actually harm the animals rather than allowing harm to come to animals through inaction. In my most recent conversation with Ask Yourself, he expressed this view quite succinctly as, just don't with anybody. While I agree that this is a pretty solid ethical principle overall, I think I have a slightly different view on the relevance of who it is that's doing the thing. We discussed this in the context of the trolley problem, where a train is going to run over 5 people and you're standing by the side of the track with the option to flick a switch and save the 5 people but run over one different person instead. Ask Yourself's intuition is not to flick the switch, because in his view it's worse to directly be responsible for the killing of the one person, and you don't have the same type of responsibility for allowing the death of the 5 people through inaction. I have to say, my intuition is to flick the switch. I asked AY if he thought that we could have any obligations to take positive actions, and he said yes. When the ratio of moral benefit to effort expended is high enough, we do have positive obligations. The example that he gave was switching on a tap in order to prevent a universe worth of suffering. And honestly, in the case of Vegan 2.0, I think we are approaching that ratio. If you have the opportunity to give a small amount of money to charity and spend about an hour a week posting on social media and doing some online activism, and you'll save over 100 animals per week by doing so, we must be getting pretty close to the ratio where we can say this is actually an obligation and passing on this opportunity is actually morally wrong. Now, we're not in this exact trolley problem in the case of Vegan 2.0 versus Vegan 1.0 because of course you can do both. But for me, if I had the choice that somebody was either going to do one or the other, it's quite tough not to pick the option which saves 50 times more animals. The second objection to being Vegan 2.0 without being Vegan 1.0 focuses on the efficacy of activism which comes from non-vegans. Are you really going to be going hard on your social media posts about eating animals if you're also eating animals? Are people going to take you seriously if they know that you're engaged in the behaviour? I have to say, it is pretty interesting to see how this played out in Alex's case. Here we have a somewhat infamous ex-vegan who now talks about how individual veganism is not that important and what really matters is systemic change. And in this podcast, he's talking about how people can contribute to that systemic change by donating to the Shrimp Welfare Project. So this is the new strategy for helping animals now, and Alex seems pretty sold on the prospect of helping 1,500 shrimp per dollar. And yet, his endorsement is kind of meh. In fact, it was only just an endorsement. He provides a link for his viewers to go and donate to the Shrimp Welfare Project, but he doesn't really urge them to do so with any urgency. We're a long way from Dwarkesh Patel's $250,000 donation match. I think the issue now for Alex is that he will have got quite a lot of pushback when he stopped being vegan, and that brings his non-vegan identity quite sharply into focus. So when he comes to talking about the systemic change and donating to the Shrimp Welfare Project, it's almost as if he doesn't really want to say it because he can already hear the vegans in the comment section calling him a hypocrite. I have to say, from the vegan perspective, this kind of feels like shooting ourselves in the foot, or rather shooting animals in the foot. If the farmed animal movement is going to reject donations or contributions of any kind from non-vegans, we're going to limit our resources massively. Being non-vegan probably does make you less effective at directly advocating for veganism. It's difficult to preach it when you're not actually practicing it. But here's the rub. Most of the impact from the activities we do in Vegan 2.0 comes not from direct advocacy, but from donations to charity. And although a non-vegan might not be as persuasive as a vegan in vegan advocacy, their money is worth just the same. Now, all of that said, it's not actually clear whether Alex is donating to the Shrimp Welfare Project or to any effective animal charities, or whether he's just half-heartedly advocating for his audience to do the same. Certainly, this is somebody who could afford to donate a substantial amount of money. I don't know if Alex is on the level of Dwarkesh Patel, where he could donate $250,000 just like that, but he must have enough to do something. I could be wrong, and it's possible that I missed it, but my feeling is that if Alex had donated a large amount of money to the Shrimp Welfare Project or to another effective animal charity, he would probably share that fact. So, is ex-vegan Alex O'Connor, who now promotes animal charities, cooking, or is he cooked? Well, it depends. First, it depends on your view about the asymmetry between action and inaction. If you think that there's a very large or irreconcilable difference between action and inaction, then you're going to tend to think that any non-vegan is cooked, regardless of their overall impact for animals. For me, I don't put too much weight on this asymmetry, so by my counts, if you're vegan 2.0, then you're cooking. But second, and most importantly, it depends on what Alex is actually doing to contribute to the systemic change that he now talks about. Is he actually donating money to the Shrimp Welfare Project or other effective animal charities? Is he taking part in any other systemic actions to help animals? If he is, he could well be cooking. But if he isn't, it's fair to say he's cooked. The thing is, there is so much potential for Alex O'Connor to be a fantastic Vegan 2.0. He has almost double the subscriber account of Dwarkesh Patel, and the video where he mentions the Shrimp Welfare Project has more than 10 times the views of the video of Dwarkesh interviewing Lewis Bollard. But he's just not using that platform to affect systemic change for animals to the extent that he could. Alex, I appreciate so much that you kept a genuine concern for animal welfare even after you stopped being vegan. And I really appreciate that you still talk about these issues. But there's just so much missed opportunity of stuff that you could do to step up your efforts to actually affect the kind of systemic change for animals that you say you want to see. I'd like to see Alex reach out and have a conversation with the founders of FarmKind, an organisation specifically set up to solicit donations to effective animal charities from non-vegans. The FarmKind team are experienced podcast guests, and I'm sure that they would love the opportunity to speak to Alex and to his audience. If you agree with me and you'd like to see Alex speak to FarmKind with a view to doing a similar donation drive to Dwarkesh Patel, go and let him know. Feel free to share this video in Alex's comments or other social media. This is a collaboration that could save millions of animals. Let's make it happen. This is Chris Bryant, PhD. Cheers.